Tucson to visit us. You're our first house guest.
Thanks for having me in this beautiful abode.
Yeah, gosh. Beautiful, wild abode.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the desert.
It's fucking out
We
here.
found that out last night.
Yeah, last night with the black light. The infamous black light.
Yeah, we went on quite an adventure.
Yeah,
It was like we went to the moon last night, you know, like we really
for sure.
went to a magical place.
But we went to the moon with someone who like used to live on the moon.
Yeah.
Hans is like so just invigorated by it all, so that made him more hype for me. I'm like, yeah. That Swaro's that old? That's cool.
We had a moon guide.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's cool. Like he knows enough to appreciate what we got. You know, he's like, dude, you have like 40 Swaro on your property. Like, it's pretty sweet.
It's true.
Is the
That was delicious.
based on what you expected of coming here? Like, yeah, what's it been like? Is it what you expected? Is it not?
Better than what I expected. I expected it kind of to feel, because like the place in Glendale felt homey to me. It felt like coming home to me. I was like, oh, cool, back at home. This feels like that, but like extreme, like the extreme amount, which is crazy. Plus, you have all the secret land that you didn't like, that it doesn't even feel like you have. And you like walk back there and there's all that shit there. It's like, yeah, it's so cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
So you
Yeah.
expected it to not feel like home, but it does.
No, I didn't know it. No, I expected it to feel like home. I expected it to feel like y'all's place, because every time I visit you guys, it feels like home. But like this, yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect it to be so cool. Again, it feels like I said the other day or the other night, that it feels like a slice of your personalities were just put into a house, and then you guys just got it. Like it was ready for you, you know?
It
You didn't have
really
to like, yeah.
Kind of happened that way.
Like
oddly enough.
time was waiting for you to just get here, you know? Yeah.
That's nice to think about. I like
Yeah.
that.
I agree, man. It's so perfect to everything we talked about. And like even Amanda was saying this, but like she's like, you guys said like you want a house with some property so you can build a studio eventually on it and stuff. She was like, and it's like you have it. You did it. It's crazy.
We figured it out.
Yep. Now you just got to deal with. You should get hypnotized for bugs or something.
To no longer be afraid?
Yeah.
Just a hard pivot to that topic, huh? I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like peak bug season right now, so I will be calmer in other parts of the year. Okay.
I feel like you've been doing pretty well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
Considering, you know?
who wants bugs in their house, in their bed? You know, I'm not crazy for
Plus that-
feeling this way.
That grasshopper went right for your mouth.
That last night, sitting outside for the first time, so nice. The twinkle lights, were enjoying everything, like big, exciting night. But yeah, then this fucking grasshopper just comes bolting like a bat out of hell. Like, is that a thing?
A bat out of hell.
Yeah, bat out of hell.
Bat out of hell.
Right here. It was
It
terrible.
kept going for you too. Like,
Yeah,
knew.
it circled back around.
right. Did it know? You know, like do bugs, they say like bees can smell fear.
Well-
but like what does that mean?
You know how they say, like, what you focus on becomes your reality? I am a little
Edgy.
tense about it right now. So maybe that is becoming my reality. I'm like a magnet.
But what is the magnetism, you know? Like,
Fear. Yeah.
Maybe.
have you heard this, that bees can smell fear?
Never heard that.
I've heard that forever. Let me get ChatGPT.
Although,
Are
here
you-
you can use mine. Well, mine.
Do you know that information because like
It's yours.
bees could be your technical mortal enemy?
People just say that. I've heard that my whole life. Like bees can smell fear.
I've never heard that.
I mean,
ever.
you hear it with like sharks and stuff too. You kind of can't like swim away in fear. You have to face it and like look at it and
true, but
pop
that's
it off.
But the bee theory is like if two people are standing like 10 feet apart and one is very scared and one is not, the bees will go to the scared person.
but to attack it.
I think so.
They also know that like dogs can sense your emotions, right? So
Yeah,
like dogs
true.
have your anxiety, and like when you bring anxiety home from work, they feel it too, and all that.
That's true. And I guess we can sense each other's emotions, you know? Like
Yeah.
if you're stressed, I could tell. I can just feel it.
feel like it's like a
can I
hunting
feel it or am
technique.
am I picking up on it, you know?
I mean,
The subtle clues,
I think
same with
that's
the dog.
different. It's all different things. You can tell the erratic motion, the movement. Like animals have different skill sets than we do to process like
Well, if you
speed or panic of an animal.
want to get a little existentially about it, we're all kind of on the same neural network, right? Consciousness is just one big Wi-Fi thing that's everywhere, so we're all kind of connected. It's kind of like the idea of if I think about somebody for a long time, then all of a sudden they text me. It's like, oh, I was thinking of them, so I like ushered them to call me. Maybe they're just better at connecting to that thing, and we're not because we're growing up and told that shit doesn't exist, that like magic doesn't exist. So like our subconscious just like deletes that, you know.
But we do pick up on it. If you're stressed, I could tell. Like I'm like probably subconsciously just reading all the cues. Oh, let us know. I've never had that one. That's
the rye one.
The rye.
This is the one that they're making the mixed drinks with yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Whiskey Dobrik, we love you now and always.
And forever.
Delbach for your home needs.
Future sponsors of the Elk Lodge podcast. We'd like to thank our future sponsors.
Yeah, seriously.
Of the Elk Lodge. But yeah, I mean, like, I can tell if Christine is stressed, and it's not like magic or something. I'm just subconsciously picking up on cues that, like, oh, she's like something is different, and I can assess it to be stress. And I bet a dog is doing something similar.
Oh, well, I agree.
Luckily, I don't need you to smell my ass to figure it out, which is good.
Well, sometimes dogs can sense things but from kind of far away. I remember we had a dog, like when we lived in North Hollywood, we had a dog, Waffles, in the house. And one of our friends came over, and Waffles doesn't like certain people. And she had like a really good read on like kind of sketchy people. One of our older friends was coming to the house, and he was like stuck, like lost on the road, like trying to figure out how to get there. And he was like on foot. And Waffles, like for 5 minutes before he even walked up to the door, was freaking out at the door. And then we found out that like, oh yeah, she hates him. But it like, he wasn't close to the house yet. He was like maybe a block away. And
Had she met him before?
No, never met him before.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was freaking out. And then we had to put her in a whole separate room because she like hated him. Like, yeah. So.
He could not sit with her.
Yeah.
Here's the bee thing. Bees can't literally smell fear in the way we often imagine, but they can detect chemical changes that often occur when an animal or human is scared. When a person is afraid, they may release stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, and these can cause subtle changes in body odor or sweat. Bees, with their keen sense of smell, might pick up on these changes. What do they smell with, though? I guess their little fucking antenna. Additionally, frightened behavior, like fast movements, swatting, or running, can trigger a defense response from bees. They tend to respond aggressively to rapid or erratic movements, which might explain why people believe they can sense fear.
Makes sense.
So while it's not literally smelling fear, they do react to.
But they kind of literally do smell fear.
Right. They don't. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, fear is not like a chemical, but
yeah.
the chemicals that are released in fear, they can smell that. Yeah. So they kind of can smell fear. There you go.
Fear chemicals.
Fear chemicals.
Yeah, for a shark,
it's true.
I know it's that whenever things are running away from them, they just see it as prey. So that's why you gotta like face it.
Reframe what you are, because a lot of times they're just like coming out of curiosity, not
Exactly. It's like bears. You gotta
surprise attacking you.
you gotta stand up to a bear. Can't just let it
Got bulk up.
treat you like a bitch.
God, standing up to any wild animal would just suck if you really had to do it. Oh,
I've seen a video of wildlife photographers. It's like 3 guys, and then like this bear's just charging at them, but this one guy's like well versed in it. He's just like, oh, and then runs away. But I'm like, bro,
yeah, like,
no. Like where was the trial and error to learn that?
Yeah.
You know, like to get good at that.
Yeah.
It's intense. Stay on the job.
Nah,
That's pretty wild.
I don't like that.
I don't like. I saw like a little tiny like lynx one time, like a little cat in the Hollywood Hills.
Really?
And like I took a picture. I sent it to Lux because it was by their house, by Stephen Lux's house, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, so cute! Like, did you like go up to it or anything?" I was like, "Fuck no!" Like, she's like, "It's so small." I was like, "Dude, if this thing just jumped on me and like got a hold of my face, even a squirrel,
your
like,
jugular.
what can I do? You know, like I'm scared of almost every animal a little bit. You know, like
Same.
there's not a
Definitely
single
same.
animal that I just like fully trust, except like maybe a dog that I know, but like in general. I don't just go up to animals and be like, I trust that this will be fine. Like any animal, I feel like could hurt me.
Yeah,
You know?
especially a horse.
with
A horse
you.
would kill you.
A horse, not if I had a sword, but
No,
a
if you
horse.
had a sword, it would
in a
still kill
fight
you.
to the death, even a squirrel, in a fight to the death, I'm going to kill that squirrel. It's not going to kill me. But like, I'm scared of it. It could, if it jumps on me, like I'm fucking in for it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I would feel gold punch a squirrel in a hot second if it jumped at me. It would freak me out. 1000%. Not these little cute ones around here though.
The ones around here are so cute. They're tiny. They look more like chipmunks.
Yeah, they look like Disney characters. or
Yeah, I
something.
know. They're seriously.
Yeah. But you also
Very
have to
woodland
murder
wonderland.
them.
Yeah, I guess apparently.
No, we got to murder our pack rats.
Oh,
That's
but those
different than the
they're
ground
cute too,
squirrels.
though, right?
They're apparently cute as well.
That sucks.
I feel like to kill a pack rat is to kill a part of myself. Look around.
Look around.
Look around. I don't know. It feels
No,
weird. It's like a pig eating bacon over here.
That was a solid setup for the
Wow.
That was really good.
Yeah, we're in a new area in the house. We haven't filmed in here before.
Yeah.
Maybe this will work out. Like, JC was like, it's weird, feels like we're about to do a podcast about building things.
Yeah. We're going to review home improvement episodes.
Seriously,
Yeah.
count it back, play back all the episodes.
We need that on a button.
Oh, sorry. Do it again. I interrupted.
It's okay.
Get a clean one. Nice.
That was good.
Pure.
What was the pitch for that? Like, did Tim Allen just go like, dude, I got something for the intro? They're like, oh no, we wrote a song. We got like an intro song. He's like, dude, how's it end? How's it end though? And they're like, it's just kind of like a song, like ba-ba, like what? He's like, what about this though?
I like to think, because there's that famous story of him like being arrested for like smuggling cocaine back in the day. I'd like to think that in the recording process, he like just did a bump and he like that's what he came
my
out and they're like,
gosh.
that's kind of good.
Coming
And then they use
to.
that.
He was like known for that sound, like that your coke dealer's outside because you just hear like. Someone's like, is that a bear? Like, no, that's
Tim
Coke.
Allen.
That's Coke. That's Tim Allen, the future famous actor, but so far he's just a drug dealer.
Did Tim Allen do like commercials and stuff? I was thinking about his career. There's certain actors or famous actresses or actors that we know that I just feel like just that's what they did. Like they just all of a sudden somebody called them and were like, hey, we're making Home Improvement. We're gonna put you in it. You know what I mean?
He was a stand-up comedian.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Oh, hence Home Improvement.
And it was in the days of like, stand-up comedian gets a sitcom deal and they like put it on TV and try to make it,
like Seinfeld.
Yeah, like in the Seinfeld era, you know.
Yeah.
Seinfeld was like the best outcome of it all. But Ray Romano, like all these people, the money was getting thrown around like crazy.
True.
So yeah, he did the coke and got arrested. Everything else came later. Like that's all before his career.
Yeah, he was like in his 30s when he got arrested for like
Yeah, I don't
coke and
know.
stuff.
But I
feel like he
think
was-
it's before he ever did stand up or anything like
25.
that.
That's cool. Go to prison and then get a budding career. Become the Santa Claus.
For real. I love that movie.
That's a great movie. I haven't seen it in forever though. We should watch
I'm sure
Raising
it didn't
Arizona.
age well.
You what?
I said I'm sure it didn't age well.
Santa Claus?
The Santa Claus, the first one.
What do you think is
I don't
problematic
know.
about the Santa
Are
Claus?
there just like endless fat jokes? But I guess it's Santa.
It's
You make
Santa.
fun of Santa's belly.
It's Santa.
Santa's large.
Well, they're just concerned. I mean, if you had any friend who just like put on 120 pounds in a week, you'd be like, this is concerning.
no, I
They
get
would
it.
go
I
to the
get
doctor.
plot.
They would say, what's up?
Yeah. You have a white beard now?
No,
I
I'm
would say
sorry.
something.
Sorry, guys. It was my left. It was my extreme left programming there.
I know.
Don't worry about
Probably
it.
a
Just
big issue.
gloss over it.
And all the elves were like kids.
You
like,
don't
It's
know.
not problematic.
Who knows? That was like the phase that people were still using the R word, and it's like we'll see.
There maybe is there an
We'll
R word
see.
in there?
I'm just saying there might be some things.
There could be, yeah, in like the opening of The Hangover.
It happens a lot.
They throw
You
the
know.
R word.
Yeah.
It's like the
There
first
you go. It's like
5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, oh shit. Like I loved this movie, but times change.
Does it bother you? Does it make you not like the movie if you hear the R word? Or is it just
Yeah,
kind of
but
like,
it definitely
oh, this is an old
it's
movie?
a jarring thing, and then
Yeah,
I'm
it kind of
like
catches you. You're like, oh, wow.
just rethinking the movie more, than I did obviously when I was a kid, and like, yeah, you just think about words that go out of style, and get retired, and just kind of things you don't say.
I was talking to my sister the other day about there's this line, I forget what movie it is. I was watching some show and there's this one line that really like stuck with me, but they're like, it was in Fargo season 5. There's this one billionaire character and they're like trying to get a hit out on someone and they're like, what's the point of being a billionaire if I can't get anybody killed? And I really like that line, but then we were talking about what's it called? Just crazy things that billionaires potentially do that we don't even know about. Like not the billionaires that we're aware of, but the ones that are like anonymous and just exist somewhere in the world and the crazy shit they do. And then it made me think of the movie The Pest. The Pest was about that. Because in The Pest, John Leguizamo meets some German like hunter dude who invites him to an island and then he hunts him. He like just hunts him. That's,
Oh, really?
That's The Pest. That's
Jeez.
like the movie The Pest.
All I remember is the intro rap.
I like to party with my peeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's like
Never
just a
seen it.
90s classic.
Yeah. We should rewatch it because that's like literally what happens. He like, him and his friend and
Wow.
yeah, him and his like girlfriend and friend. I think Aries Spears is in it. Dude from Mad TV.
The black guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty sure he's in it. Anyway, it's really funny. And the dad from the villain is the dad from Beethoven.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would know that guy's name if I heard it.
Anyways, we should watch The Pest and Raising Arizona.
Yeah, Raising Arizona. You've seen it or no?
I think one time.
What, but you didn't like it.
I didn't love it.
Never seen it. I've never seen it. Paul was saying that it was good.
But I keep pushing it too. Like maybe with fresh eyes, you would like it as well. It's really funny.
Or maybe
So
I'll
good.
be like, enough. I don't like it still.
Yeah, maybe. That's also a possible outcome.
I don't like it.
By the way,
so.
Tim Allen was doing stand-up comedy before his
Still don't
arrest
like
for
it.
cocaine possession. In the late 1970s, he began performing stand-up in the Detroit area, where he developed his comedic skills. However, in 1978, he was arrested at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport for attempting to traffic over 650 grams of cocaine. He ended up
like a
operating.
lot.
He ended up cooperating with authorities. Snitched. Which reduced his prison sentence to about 2 years and 4 months. After his release, he returned to stand-up comedy, eventually becoming a well-known comedian who did this.
We're up to 3, guys. We're up to 3.
3 of those sounds.
Yeah, I was thinking 17 felt like the right number earlier.
You think it'll be 17?
We'll see. Don't force it. I just want to see
I
it
won't
if it
force
naturally
it.
comes out, or
Well, now
maybe we'll end at 3. Who knows?
There should be
Possible.
a name for that sound. I don't know what the name is.
It is
There should be a
iconic.
name for it.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Is there a name?
For Tim Allen's.
Well, let me
Our
just. I wonder if they can make the sound too.
Or like our sounds trademarked like that? I guess they are.
Is there a name
be?
for Tim Allen's sound that he makes at the end of the Home Improvement theme song?
Tim Allen's signature sound from Home Improvement, often described as a grunt or growl, doesn't have an official name, but is widely recognized as a comedic expression of his macho man persona on the show. He frequently made variations of this sound during the series, especially when discussing
Shut up.
tools.
ChatGPT. Thank you.
I wonder if they
appreciate
can make the sound.
that. I don't want the robots to be mad at me.
Can you make that sound that Tim Allen is famous for making, where he goes? "Urgh"?
I can't physically make sounds, but I can describe it for you.
Well, you,
Why the fuck can't you make it?
Would she just say a grunt? Like, what would the
you
description be?
guys, she's a robot. What do you mean?
Yeah, but they're learning.
She needs to learn. They should figure out how to.
Don't blame her. Her programmer should, first of all.
There is no her. I am blaming the programmer. I saw Thomas Middleditch. You know the guy from Silicon Valley.
Yes.
He was
Which
talking.
one from Silicon Valley?
Huh?
Which character?
The main guy.
Okay.
And he was trying to get ChatGPT to like speak with a German accent. He's like, "Can you do it?" He's like, "Cause like," and I don't think he could get it to do it. But it was funny the way he was
Like trying to
He was
get
like,
it
"You
done.
know what an accent is? You understand that we say this like this? Like, can you talk that way to me?"
That's
and I
interesting.
wouldn't do it, but I bet we're not far away from that.
Can they tell jokes? Can like the AI tell
Oh
jokes?
yeah, for sure they can tell jokes.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've asked Alexa like a
Yeah,
knock-knock
Siri
joke
could
before.
tell jokes. Like OG Siri was telling jokes.
True.
The trippy thing here was when we had it play a game. We were trying to guess what the most populated cities in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We were just like, I wonder what they are. And it's like, let's look them up. But then I was like, I talked to ChatGPT and said, hey, we want to play a game. We're going to guess the top 10 most populated cities. When we get one right, you let us know and let us know what number it is. And it said, okay, great, let's play. And we were like, Shanghai. They're like, Shanghai's number 2.
Whoa.
Very good. And we were like, Detroit. They're like, Detroit's not on the top 10. So like you can explain a game to it and then it'll play it with
we
you.
didn't guess Detroit.
That was just an example.
That was not on there.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it tripped us out. Like
That's cool.
It was, and then we had to play the Newlywed Game with us.
Okay, I got a game.
What do you got to do?
It's tech free, just up to me. I believe I told you guys I was going to call it back and ask you the 5 C's
Oh, Jesus.
that are the pillars of Arizona's economy.
Copper.
Commerce.
No, JC. Yes, Paul.
Copper
Yes.
is one.
Copper is 1.
Climate.
That is number 2.
Oh, I thought we did this.
We did do it.
I told you
Oh.
I was going to
It's a-
test you.
It's a repeat test.
I threw it all out of my head.
Cactus is not on there, but it should be. I remember that. I remember being mad about that. Chicken. Cattle.
Fuck.
There you go. There's 1.
Cosplay.
Cosplay, is that one?
Comic-Con was just here.
Cocaine.
It is. Comic Con seems to be a big deal around here. Not cocaine.
Corn.
Actually, they
No.
probably cocaine might be one that they just don't advertise. In this little cutesy thing.
You said coal.
No, we didn't say coal. That's not coal. Cars.
Nope.
Tom Cruise.
No.
Say Com Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Think
Tom
of
Cruise is a good name for
Tom
something.
Cruise.
what do cowboys wear?
Hats.
Cowboy boots.
Cowboys always wear
Overalls.
denim.
Denim.
Denim's made
Coats.
with
Cotton.
cotton.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the cotton.
Cotton's a big one, and then that thing,
Cobalt.
that fruit that's so good in the winter. Everybody thinks about Florida, but
Orange. Citrus.
citrus.
Oh. Citrus is the surprise.
We have,
It's
you
not.
have
We have
oranges
so much
here.
sunshine. Yeah, we get lots of like lemons, limes,
Oh.
orange, citrus.
But you don't think of, I think of tropical climates as where citrus comes from.
Well, think again.
Yeah, I gotta learn. Gotta learn this.
Yeah, why here?
Sunshine, lots of sunshine. I don't know. They just make it work.
They make it work. They figure it out.
So they make it's just like fake farms.
They're not fake farms. They grow really from the dirt. They plant seeds. They're real as far as I can tell.
So fake.
Like a cartoon?
It's like, there's your left showing. There's your little left rabbit hole brain popping up.
Oh, fake
unannounced.
farms.
Is that a fake farm? No, JC, that's really a fucking tree.
No, I meant to say like man-made, like if they have like a big warehouse or something, and they
Like a greenhouse.
Yeah. something
No,
like
I
that.
think like they do all of it outdoors.
Oh.
It's like kind of similar climate. Obviously, so much more humidity in Florida, but you get warm temperatures, low freeze, or like not a lot of frost. Like I think that's what they need.
Wow. I'm excited for it to cool down. I'll tell you that. Like-
Sure, yeah.
It's not
the
terribly
switch to
hot.
winter.
It's not so bad.
The wind is nice.
Here's the thing. This is the same thing about winter. It's not that it's so hot. Like, sure, being in town for a week, you're like, oh, it's not so bad. The sun goes down. I feel cool. Oh, there's some wind, whatever. No humidity. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the length that it goes on because it's literally this hot from May through October. So it's just like a long
and then
run.
people don't show up then, right? Like because
It's pretty
I saw
quiet.
it because TikTok is like showing me now like Phoenix people and Tucson people's TikToks, whatever, and everybody's talking about how dead it is, and it's like makes me think of low season in Sayu. where
Yeah,
I'm
it's
at.
low season here because there's snowbirds. So there's people who just come here every winter. So like, yeah, there's a big
And
influx.
tourists come in the winter. And then there's like, a lot of events. Our Gem and Mineral Show. There's the Tour Day Tucson, like this massive cycling event every year. So yeah, there's like
Cool.
a lot of stuff in the winter that brings a lot more activity.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the college kids are gone, it's really quiet. And then, summers are just sleepy.
Wait.
But I was talking to my brother-in-law who's a chef, and he says this is like the slowest summer he remembers in years, like worse than, and I've kind of
In
heard
New
that
York.
from other business owners in New York, and then some business owners I know here in Tucson are kind of reporting the same thing. So
I think there was
I
a little
think
bit of a
there's-
bubble that popped after the pandemic.
yeah, I
Like,
think things popped up.
everyone was getting checks from the government. Everyone kind of had all this extra income. And then once everything opened up again, it's like, boom, let's go out. It's like, wow, like probably that was like the most busy it ever was, And then it just like, just kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, talks of this recession or whatever. People mumble that.
Inflation.
Yeah, it's been, things have been inflated a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like.
I mean,
It's
they
wild to be here. The gas is like $3. I think I filled up the other day at $3.19 a gallon.
How much
So
was it in
good.
LA? I would assume it's insane.
5.
So my tank was $35 last time I filled up. I mean, it was easily over 100 sometimes in LA because just for like 10 gallons of gas.
Damn.
Yeah, over $5, close to $6, or over $6 at its like height, and then finally was like just getting back into the high 4s when we left.
I feel like someone said
5s.
7 the other day.
$7.
I don't remember seeing it at 7.
Wait, where in LA?
Yeah.
What's highest ever gas price in LA? Guesses?
10, 13.
10, 13.
Jeez, no. I'll say
I don't know.
7.
I haven't driven a car in fucking 10 years. I don't know.
I'll say.
Like I feel like there was like the
Say
gas crisis of the 70s, but
689.
money was so different then.
Yeah,
that-
it wouldn't be that high.
I'm going to go with 720.
All right, let's see it.
As of September 2024, we're at records high. So right now, average price a gallon, $6.13. This is the highest level since October 2022.
When was that though? Because October 22, it was like $100 to fill up. It was rough.
Damn.
But it's because of its like better gas, like better gas for the environment.
That's what our former podcast
What
guest
does that
Randy
mean?
told us, that they put like they basically require higher standards that emit less bullshit.
Oh, okay. Just
So-
make them run on air.
Just breathe.
There's oxygen everywhere.
On cars, just breathe.
Pretty sure there was a guy that did that
Or
actually.
just use grease. I think they use grease and like hemp. You can do other
Well, you can
things.
do
but
vegetable oil.
the
People have
auto
done
industry
that.
shut it down. They didn't like that idea.
Yeah, there's some guy in
Big auto.
Jersey a couple of years back, or I want to say Jersey, but like he made a engine that like I'm pretty sure it's either water or oxygen that just uses one of those two things to like run it, and then he died.
I think it was water
Yeah.
or like hydrogen.
And then some random person went into like a grocery store to like shoot people, and it just so happened that he was in the grocery store when it happened.
Seems a little fishy.
Little fishy.
Yeah. Hey. So we're out here saving money, but we're killing the environment.
Yeah.
With worse gas.
It feels great.
and we're stoked
That's
about
the
it.
Arizona way.
Well, you guys are out here with skinwalkers and stuff, so it's all good.
Lots of spooky stuff. I liked your story about the little hoof man creature.
Yeah, that my stepdad's-
Family heirloom, yeah.
my stepdad's mom told him. It's scary.
It is scary. It's wild. It's easy, you always want the answers. Like, I love a good ghost story. You always want to know the answer to the magic trick. But
Well, also out
there's
here
so
in the
much we
desert-
just can't explain. And I don't like to say that all of it is impossible, because who am I to say
Yeah, there's
that
portals in
couldn't
Sedona.
happen? You fell through them once. That's how you ended up in Sayulita all that time later.
Through a
maybe.
portal.
Through a
That'd be
portal.
so cool if like I can't wait till we get to the. I hope that I exist long enough to see like portals or whatever. So it's like, oh yeah, let's
Like
go.
teleporting?
Yeah, or just like portals in general, just like exactly
Do you
teleporting.
think you have to
Teleportation.
like press a button like you're getting on an elevator?
Maybe.
You just sort of
Or you
just
just
fall
walk
in,
through-
like
I mean-
the wall in Harry Potter. You just sort of like.
I mean, if we want to be
through
cool
it.
about it, it would just be like a little like a watch, and you're just like boop, and you're like all of a sudden somewhere else.
Who gives you the watch though? Where do you get the watch?
Apple.
Yeah, I was.
I transport. Or what is it?
Something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get to that. I mean, I guess you got to, right? Like,
I would venture to say in the next at least 300 years, if we don't like do a great reset and fucking destroy all this shit,
yeah, I bet 300 years we can
Within 300.
dismantle everything and rebuild it somewhere else. But at that point, it's like, why would you? You wouldn't need to. You wouldn't even need to leave your house. It's like you can pretty much just be anywhere without being there,
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, do I
Like
need
you
to
could
transport to Hawaii, or do I just put on my VR, like plug in my chip and just like be in Hawaii in my brain, and I can fly, I can swim, I can breathe underwater? Like, why go through the trouble of like dismantling my molecules, rebuilding them in physical Hawaii so I can walk on the beach,
Because you could also go to Mars if you want.
I can also go to Mars if I want.
Yeah, or something.
But I
don't
could
know.
teleport, I feel like we'll more often go places in VR than like physically really go somewhere,
I
Like-
would want it to get to a point where I could create like a mech suit, like Tony Stark, like an Iron Man suit, and then I could just like go into the ocean wherever I want, you know what I mean? But not be harmed by anything, be completely comfortable, but just like go wherever I want, go into the densest part of the Amazon, go into the Antarctica, see if the world's flat or not. Like
You're just
I would-
invincible.
Yeah.
Fly to
yeah.
the moon.
Yeah, I go to the moon.
I'm sure
I go
we'll
see
get
the
there.
other side of the moon, see what's over there, and send
Dark
pics.
side.
Yeah.
Pics back.
I mean, they'll be dark. There'll be dark photos.
Flash.
No, that's not true, actually. There is no dark side of the moon. The sun does hit that side of the moon. We just never see that side of the moon.
Oh,
The
so
moon,
because
the moon
we're
stays facing us, the same place faces us all the time.
Gotcha. Okay.
But sun does hit the other side of the moon. They've supposedly been there or flown a satellite around it or something.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know. Do we trust these
Sure
people?
They have.
Yeah, the moon's a trip, man. I don't know.
Some of the like space stuff is some of my favorite like conspiracy theory things. The whole like, especially when it comes to like biblical terms of like the as above so below idea. The idea that space is like the ocean, like it's just water up there or whatever. Like the idea of the firmament that there is technically no space and it's just like this whatever like covers us and shit.
It's a fun idea, but like we're basing science off of like a bunch of Jews 3,000 years ago, like
What?
the Old Testament. It's the Torah. So just like,
It's funny to say it like that.
Yeah, interesting way to phrase it.
well, it was just a group of Jews being like, dude, as above, so below. Boom. That's what I think. And then they're like, yeah. And now, like today, fucking 2,500 years later, someone's like,
I get what that means
there's
now.
fucking water up there. Like a fucking Ira Steinstein said it fucking.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, why are we listening to people
Leave
from
Ira out of
3,000 years ago about science? But some things probably are right.
Well, that's-
I'm not totally discounting all ancient information.
And there's no denying the fact that people were much more in tune with their natural world back then than they are with a smartphone in your hand at all times.
Possibly.
They knew stuff that we don't know. So
but
the idea
but we
that-
know stuff they don't know
Yes,
also.
yes.
They
And
thought the
then-
Earth was the center of the universe.
But there's still many things that we can't explain.
But that's
fully.
as far as we know from what we've
Just like
gotten
they couldn't.
from archaeological records and stuff too. Because there's also it always what's that big the Library of Alexandria that burned down? That could have been hundreds of thousands of years of information that was
Yeah,
just
that's
like
just such a heartbreak.
gone. Like we were smart about it. We're like, hey, let's put it all in this one place, and then it burnt up. I wonder who burnt it up. What if it was like a time traveler?
Oh, Paul knows the story.
Well, there's theories
Of
on
theories
it. But
of the story.
likely Julius Caesar accidentally burned it down.
Caesar,
Yeah.
the salad guy.
That's the one. The guy who invented salad. The first guy to put croutons in.
No,
Yeah.
he's another guy who deserves respect, you know? That's a great salad.
He's an epic dude, but he
Put some
was
respect on his name, okay?
in Egypt helping Cleopatra win a civil war, and he lit all the boats in the harbor on fire. Forget why exactly. But then that fire spread into the city and burnt the Library of Alexandria.
Were they like fucking?
Oh yeah.
They had a kid.
Oh, who's the kid?
Some bastard. Nobody
Little
knows.
Caesars.
Some bastard. Yeah, it's Little Caesar.
There it is.
No, dude, it's the most epic shit of all time. Like, Julius Caesar became the most powerful person on the planet. He goes to Egypt, where there's like the ruling people, the Ptolemaic dynasty, and there's Cleopatra there, and they like. First of all, I didn't even realize they all lived at the same time, you know. But anyway, then he helped her beat a civil war against her brother to take over. But they had a kid. And then Caesar's like, I'm out. I'm going back to Rome. And he was like married and he had like legitimate children there. And then Cleopatra, like some years later, goes to Rome and brings the kid. And like Caesar's there with his wife and
Drama.
shit. Yeah, like it's fucking gnarly.
Knock,
That's a
knock.
TV show.
Right?
What are people doing?
I mean, I've seen Netflix has they did like a docuseries about it.
Oh,
It wasn't that enjoyable, though.
I loved it. I was
I
fascinated.
haven't seen it.
Wasn't that?
Was that the one that people were
Or
mad
maybe
about
I
the
only
casting
watched
of
little.
Cleopatra?
Because she was played by a black person. But we don't know if Cleopatra was black or not. Like, she was Greek.
I mean, Egypt's also in Africa, so.
No, but the
Ruling class was from
Alexander the Great
Greek
conquered
descent.
Egypt. And his best friend, Ptolemy, got to keep Egypt in the end. And Cleopatra is a descendant of Ptolemy, the Greek guy who took over Egypt.
So who built the pyramids then?
Way before.
OG Egyptians, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I remember,
mean,
like-
we don't know exactly who built the
That's what I thought, because I
pyramids.
remember seeing a thing that like the time that like we are closer now to the time of Cleopatra than they were to the time that the pyramids
Yeah.
were built. Like,
Absolutely.
That's how like long ago the pyramids are built.
Pyramids were maybe built 10,000 years ago, or like 7. I think even some of the like most conservative would assume 5,000 years before, or like 5,000 BC or something.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy.
amazing how much humans accomplish without Netflix.
And then we
What
learn
could
about
I
it
do?
on
I could
Netflix.
build the world.
Yeah,
I just wasn't like, okay, what's next? Here we go. Yeah.
it's amazing. To me, it's crazy how like all these like crazy times, like they happen like
Close to each
in
other.
a moment, and like
Oh.
it's like Cleopatra, Caesar, Mark Antony, even Jesus, like they all lived around like the same time. Like, I mean, those first 3 were friends, but Jesus was like within 100 years lived as well.
Damn.
And then like ancient Greek philosophy, like they were all like, that was just a chunk of dudes like for like 100 years.
Who just thought a lot and wrote it down.
Who just thought a lot and wrote it down. It was like there was Socrates and then Plato and then Aristotle, but like they were all friends. They all knew each other, like, and
That's-
it
yeah,
just
that is
kind of
crazy to think
happens
about.
as like a hub. And the
like-
Buddha lived at the same time as them.
They were
basically.
like the Rat Pack of ideas.
Yeah, they were like the Rat Pack of ideas. And you think about the 60s, like the Stones, like the Beatles, like they changed so much and they all lived at like the same time, you know? Like it's just wild.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think about that whenever I'm in New York, because we'll walk by places and Christina will be like, oh, that place is where such and such lived, and like all these art people lived, and like they all did shit. That's the apartment or whatever that you like think of, whatever. And it's like, oh shit. Then I think of, does that exist anymore? That idea of like a true scene anymore? Like
like Laurel Canyon, A Place in Time.
Yeah, something
Great
like
documentary.
that. Only because like to me now, art, like if you're a revered artist or like a known artist, so to speak, you're just kind of like social media famous, and most of that is just you by yourself filming yourself. You know what I mean? It's not like you going out and like
Very collaborative,
putting things out and doing things with other people. I don't know. It's
The world is less tangible than it used to be, but I don't know. Like look at Odd Future and like everything that happened in LA around that time. Like that's like Kendrick Lamar, Odd Future,
True.
like you know that like. A whole kind of thing came up out of there, or even like go back further, like NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, like they all kind of came out of the same like
like TDE and all
thing,
that shit.
yeah, or like TDE, or I mean, yeah,
but then again, scenes are interesting because you never know you're in one until it's done.
yeah.
It's hard to say.
I always think of that like when we were like in Orlando and stuff, like doing the open mics and stuff like that, and then like I look back now, that people are still doing that same exact open mic, and I was like, oh shit, like yeah, I don't know. There's like the OG people will show up and people like know them because they're the OG people that like were there whenever I was there. It's interesting to think about it. Like, oh yeah, that was a whole scene. That era of like battles, raps, and grind time in Orlando and shit was like, yeah, gone. But it's interesting to think
Anywhere
about.
you are, JC, is a scene.
You're a
I know.
scene.
You're a scene.
You're causing a scene.
Yeah, as soon as I leave the room, you guys like bring the script out and you're just like,
Like, did he? I didn't realize. Oh, okay.
he kind of went off script. Like on the
He took my line, dude. That was my.
Would that be crazy if it was like that's what like life was like on some Truman Show shit? You know, like
I used to think that as a kid sometimes, like
same.
I'm in a show, but I think it's just narcissistic paranoia of a child, you know.
For sure. I would sit there and think sometimes that like maybe if once I leave like school, like they all just stay there and they just like wait, you know, they just wait for me to come back or whatever. Like they don't go home really. They just tell me that.
Why
know?
would they?
Right.
What do they have to do?
The world feels
Other
like
than
that
teach
for a
ya.
kid.
Entertain me.
Yeah,
Right.
like hanging with our nieces and nephew, like their world is just their world, you know. Like we're just everything
Along
is
for
like
the ride.
yeah, that's like that's my aunt and uncle. But like when I'm not interacting with them or talking on the phone with them, like they don't have really like a life. Like you just can't grasp it, you know. Like I feel like to all these kids, you know, like the mind of a child is so interesting.
For sure.
It's just like this narcissistic bubble, kind of.
Yeah. It's like what's it called? It's like maps when you're playing a video game. You know, the map's always clouded until you like see more of it, and that's like that's what experience would be, right? As you're growing up, like the more you like, experience shit, the more unclouded the map is. But you never get to see the whole map, and maybe that's why we get reincarnated all the fucking time, so you can see the whole fucking map of everything.
I wonder.
Who knows?
I don't believe in reincarnation.
I mean,
You
for
think
all,
so? You think like your spirit will be something else and you've been something else?
Only for if you want to go sciencey with it, what's that thing about energy? Like you can't destroy it or whatever the fuck, so it's always just exists. Like you can't, it doesn't deplete or whatever. So, with that
I
sense,
think that's about matter. I don't know if it's about
But we're
energy.
matter. We're made of matter.
Right. But is your consciousness matter? No.
It matters. Yes.
I would say so.
I like to believe in reincarnation
well-
at my least cynical points.
Yeah, but I feel like I've just heard too many stories in life, or had too many weird coincidences to think that it's not. And you know what? If I
Yeah, you're right. Energy cannot be created or destroyed.
okay, so it doesn't. Okay, so it still exists.
Right?
So,
It
Still
just changes
exists.
forms.
yeah. So then,
I mean,
Who knows?
is it so weird to think if I was planted in a mushroom suit in the backyard and mushrooms grew from me, that there's like a little piece of me in there? That my soul
Yeah.
may be diluted, maybe different, maybe unrecognizable, but there's some piece that's still
Yeah.
made of me, dances when the black light shines on it to a certain yeah song, you know?
Possible.
Why not? Why is that not
yeah.
so weird?
Who knows?
I think, like, yeah, we're energy, and like we're all the same energy. The energy in the tree is the same energy coming through me. Like it's this life force, and it stays, and we die, and it becomes other things, and everything. You know, like we're all made of the same shit. But the whole like I I was Cleopatra in a past life. Like we kind of all were. You were a tree. Like you're everything in a past, future, present. We're all everything. You know, like it's not it stops making sense to me when it gets so specific that it's like, oh, I reincarnated into this whole. So like my whole thing just moved into another thing, and now that thing's going. Like maybe the mushrooms grow in the tree, the water would then just like. That's possible. But
I agree. I'm with you. That kind of loses me.
That it moves from, like a light going from one person to the next. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, I've never had one of those experiences, so I, can't speak to how real or powerful or meaningful they are to those people. But yeah, it does feel specific.
I always think of the whenever we did in the Dudesons, whenever we had that hypnotizer guy there, and I remember we had the conversation. I was like, "Oh, what's the weirdest thing you've ever found in your line of work?" And he said, "Past life regression was the weirdest thing that he stumbled upon." And to try and condense the story that he told us, he had this girl come in because he had a practice as if he's a good doctor. He had a practice where people would come in to get hypnotized to do stuff, but he hypnotized everybody. He hypnotized Tiger Woods. He hypnotized Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Anyway, Howie Mandel, so that he could like shake people's hands because he's such a germaphobe. So he'd done this a bunch of times to people. He had this one girl come in who was from like Ohio, moved to New York. She wanted to be first seat in the symphony, or whatever, and she played like a woodwind instrument, but she had asthma, and her asthma was getting worse. So still don't know if this is real or not, but I remember him saying that like asthma is like a neurological thing. It's like in your head. It's not like a physical.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah, exactly. So she went to him to fix that. She goes under, she's like in the hypnotized state, and all of a sudden she starts screaming something in French. And he's like, what the fuck? And it just so happens that the lawyer that worked across from his like office, whatever, speaks French. So he takes her out of it, says, hey, can we do it again? Because this is what happened, but I'm going to have my friend be kind of like the stenographer and like, say, what's the word? I can't think of it. Translate what you're saying. So they do it again, and she's answering questions. Like in French, like he's asking her questions and stuff. Anyway, they write down everything she says, and it gets very specific. She says what's happening to her is she's in a fire and that she's dying. And they ask her where she is, and they say in France. And she said this small little town that's outside of Paris, and that she was in a church, and that's all. That's the information that she got. He's like, well, I live in New York City, so there's like a large library, and you can find like historical records. So I went and I looked using that information, and it was like in 1876. It was like a very specific time. Blah 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 blah. And in the news at that specific date, specific time, there's one fatality in a church that burnt down somewhere in France. So that maybe this made him think of the idea of generational trauma, that maybe she now has asthma in this new life, if you believe in reincarnation, because she had died tragically because smoke was in her lungs and she couldn't breathe.
Is she related to that person? Like, is it a descendant of hers?
Oh, that's interesting. I know he never like got into that.
Because that would kind of like
if it was in the bloodline.
Yeah, like if you have a kid, your DNA is literally in that kid, and like
the information.
Like it's printed in you, and like that I would kind of make sense to me at least. Like if my great grandma died in a fire, and I don't understand why, but I have some fear of fire and like asthma or something like that, and then you figure out like, oh, it's written into your DNA that like this happened. That I would buy, but that's not reincarnation as much as like the information is imprinted. Like she's not really reincarnation. This is just at least
if she is,
if I'm right or whatever. If she my theory would be she's not really reincarnation of this person.
If she's related.
If she's related.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the like reincarnation like anecdotal stories of like a kid who's like, no, I'm actually like grandma. It's like usually they are related to the person.
Oh, I've heard of.
There's like all these. There's anecdotal stories because I looked this up one time because like Steve always talks about it. Like he really believes like your people are reincarnated. Like in the like goes from me to somebody else. Like in the literal sort of way. So I looked at. I was like, what is the evidence? Like what's the best evidence? And there's a lot of these anecdotal stories of things like that where it's like a kid is born into a family and then he says like, no, I'm your grandpa, and then they test him or whatever, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, it's like grandpa's in there. But usually they're related to the person. Also, it's anecdotal evidence, so maybe it's bullshit too. But
I mean, they take it pretty literally with the Dalai Lama. Like, how do they? Because they like announce before they're born usually who the next Dalai Lama will be, right? Isn't that how it works? There's like
Something
a whole.
like that.
I'd be curious to know a little bit more
Maybe.
about
Yeah,
how they designate that title.
this is where Buddhism stops making sense to me, because Buddhism is like we're all the same. We're all this like shared energy. I'm you, you're me.
Except for this one Goku.
We're the
super
same,
guy.
right? But there's this
Asterisk.
lineage of whatever. The way Tato explained it, because Tato's a Buddhist and studies Buddhism, it's like we're all trying to like just wash our souls clean, sort of like with meditation. It's like a cleansing, just trying to get all the
To
bad
reach the
karma
different
off.
heightened awareness or whatever.
I guess so. I just to like leave this life with like good karma. And so that the Dalai Lama is like it's the pure signal, you know, it's like there's no bad karma on
Unadulterated.
that. Unadulterated. But yeah, how do they know? And I don't know. But he seems like a happy guy. Like, has the Dalai Lama ever been like, fuck it, dude, I'm
a bad boy.
a bad
I'm a
llama.
bad llama, mama.
Yeah.
You ever see that like llama, red pajama, all the like different people covering the children's book? It's such an entertaining video. I think it's just like, it's a...
Whenever they have like rappers rap the children's
Yes,
book.
it's so funny seeing their styles. It's like amazing. But yeah, just simple. I feel like, I don't know, children's books, they're catchy.
They are.
Got
Super
good
catchy.
hooks in there.
We should do, because we have a friend who believes he has a past life, so we should go through his lineage and see if he's actually has like
Yeah, if
somebody
there's
that.
any-
If he could be related to this person.
Yeah, because Joey believes he was a madam in like the Old
yeah.
West.
Yeah.
Remember? Because he was like so scared of the hypnotist. He's like, I don't believe in this black magic hippie shit, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the hypnotist does his thing, Joey's like, like he went under so quick.
Yeah.
And then when we were asking questions, Joey was just very like, I'm not asking questions. He was just, he acted like this dude was a witch. And then
sure.
whenever we talked about the past life stuff or whatever, I was like, damn. I remember he looked at us. He's like, you guys have any past life things, whatever? And Joey's like, I was a madam. Like immediately, didn't think twice about it. And we're like, what? He's like, yeah, I've had dreams since I was a child about being a madam in the wild, wild west. And I was-
Amazing.
yeah, so we should look through his lineage and see if he's like, yeah, if a
Find
madam
this
pops
person.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he ever have a relative?
Yeah.
Even in the Old West. I mean,
Or if he just popped into some other whatever life. But the thing about the popping into another life, though, it's not popping into like someone other new personality. You're just clean slate. You're just, you know what I mean? You don't. I don't know.
what are you talking about popping into some life?
Well, because whenever you say you get lost in the idea of reincarnation, because it's like, oh, what? All of a sudden, this other person or whatever, you're just being born again. You know, you eventually become that person, but that's
Right.
not to say that you know what I mean?
But just where it's like so specifically like whatever's in me, like I died and then that thing
Transfers.
went somewhere else, like specifically stayed together. Like it just doesn't make sense to me that.
Oh,
would happen.
like let's say I was Cleopatra once, and I like vividly remember being
Yeah.
Cleopatra or whatever. I feel
So it's like, oh, so Cleopatra died, but then her spirit just like plopped in this, and it's like this thing that keeps moving, but
Yeah.
staying together, you know, like it would dissipate. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. There's also interesting stories or people that study this stuff or whatever, because it's, you know, there's no objective fact about it, obviously, but there's like people who talk about like soul contracts and stuff. They're like, oh,
right.
you know, in a previous life, you made a deal with someone else to meet them here and all this shit. Like, yeah, that kind of stuff. But people talk about it as if it's like absolute fact sometimes.
For sure.
I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, I don't buy it. First of all, I love the idea of going up to a poor person being like, you know, you chose this. This was actually your idea. You were born here. You decided, make me poor.
Humble me.
Humble me. My spirit wants to experience being poor and destitute. So this is kind of I'm not helping you. You wanted this. You asked for this.
to that point though, maybe. Sometimes I think
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. I'm not saying
No, because
I know anything, but
I always have this feeling sometimes that like if maybe the next life or whatever happens next with the lack of a physical form, that maybe every single thing, like even like the worst experience you've ever had or the worst pain you've ever had, you would miss deeply because you just don't see it like that. Because you'd be I would assume you'd be in this, because they say that like whenever you die, you're a part of like one, whatever, right? And one is like perfect and everything's great at all times, but there's something that's missing, and that's why we choose to experience. If we are like souls coming down, that's why we choose to experience this stuff. Is because I don't know, it's an interesting like a beautiful thing that we just can't experience when we're like maybe perfection gets overhyped sometimes, so we like come down to like not be perfectly in one with everything. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's something to the messiness of experience that
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even the lows are deep, and deep is memorable.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, maybe there's something
Like
to
some
that.
of the most physically agonizing hikes I've been on are the ones that I'll never forget because I worked the hardest to get there, you know? And like it's in my bones now. You
for
know?
sure.
Yeah, the best memories are usually a struggle, involve struggle. But that,
And like
I don't
the
know, I
greatest
don't think
lessons
that's
come through that.
for
and-
sure. But like that would imply that when I die, whatever spirit soul in me like stays like together and goes somewhere and has like a plan. Like it's still separate from the one, you know, like that's as if like the thing in me is different than the thing in you. And you'll go back up and I'll go back up and then we'll come back down and other things. But like, we're the same thing.
Yeah,
At least in the way I see it.
No, for sure.
I'm not saying I'm right either.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Being back part of the one, being back part of the one, that is interesting because right now we're just like little slices of the one in little avatars. Like I'm just in this little meat suit that, you know,
Yeah.
I'm creating this idea of who I am or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just what
interesting.
life looks like through that.
I always hate that term, meat suit.
Flesh suit, what do you
Don't
want?
like. I just don't like it. Meat suit.
The
Meat suit.
Scuba,
Creeps me out.
the scuba suit?
Lady Gaga.
I didn't like it when Gaga did it either. I
Yeah.
didn't think it looked good. It wasn't cool.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I like to bring this conversation maybe back down to earth for a moment.
Oh, wow.
If I could.
Bigfoots.
Almost good guess, but no. I was just gonna say you've got a lot coming up, like creatively, and
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. If you want to talk about it, I don't know how much you can talk about your next project, but
I don't know either, so I'm not going to.
well, I mean, just you want to give us the gist.
There's a short film
You
you're
don't
going
have
to
to
work
tell
on.
us everything.
Working on a movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a feature. It's like
Oh, it's a
full-on-
feature.
It's a full-on feature.
Oh, I thought it was
That's
short.
so exciting.
No, it's full-on feature.
I feel like you've willed this to happen. Talk about all the manifesting. You've been stepping up to this plate for a while. It's a big moment.
It was crazy too, because maybe 2 weeks before I got the call for it, I was talking to this one girl in town who we were at a barbecue, and she's like this British girl. And I was like talking to her, and I was asking her about her life and stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, I used to work in TV and do all this stuff." And I was like, I miss being on a film set. I would love to like just have that happen soon." And then 2 weeks later, I get a call of like, "Hey, want to maybe work in this film?" I was like, "Yeah." So it's cool.
Super cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're almost there. You said you start filming in October.
in October, yeah.
Which is
Shooting in
cool.
October in Sayulita. It'll be all of October. Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of art direction stuff. That's what I'm like doing on it right now, art direction. So I'm buying little random funny things, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Also, I really like Charlie, the art director that I work with, my boss. He's really cool because he's very poetic about art direction, you know, and how the way a space looks and feels says so much about a character, but also can help a character get into character better. I don't know. He's just really like takes it so serious, and I love that because I've met some art directors who just like, we just got to make it look like a fucking saloon. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But he's like,
there's intention.
a lot of intention. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. I had a lot of fun shopping at the antique mall with you and looking for treasures and finding little things. It's fun to like, I've never shopped as a character before. I appreciated, you kept like telling me a little bit more and more as we'd walk the aisles, and I was like, it's fun. I love shopping. So to give me a prompt while shopping is a new high.
Prompt shopping.
Prompt shopping. I
shop.
loved it.
That'd be fun to do. That should be like a
Seriously. Well, I mean, kind of like you go out for a costume party or something, themed parties, you know.
True.
I feel like I've maybe done
Yeah.
similar things, but it was fun. And yeah, it's cool. It's going to be such a creative outlet for you. And
We should make a movie here. I was telling Paul yesterday or the day before that
we'll do this one and then come back and we'll
that's
do a
another
second
thing.
one.
That's another thing I'm stoked for. Is the experience because there's like some legit people being in it,
Yeah,
and
you're going to learn so much.
yeah. And like I'm used to just doing it the way we do it, you know, just like go out there and shoot stuff and make stuff. But I'm really interested in seeing, especially in Mexico, because it's a little bit not as official feeling, you know what I mean? So it does feel kind of like cutty a little bit, like
Right.
filmmaking.
It's legit, but less official.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not so permanent oriented and like
Right.
yeah. So that's gonna be the fun part about it. You know, it's still kind of guerrilla filmmaking, which I like. I'm a big fan of. So
I think Katy Perry just got in trouble for that not that long ago, right? Did you hear about this? She like recorded on some dunes and like private protected habitat in Spain.
yeah,
Just
without
getting sued
permits.
without
Yeah.
permits.
You can't be that big and do that.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like Kanye West using a
can't even
sample and
be
not
the-
clearing it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get. You
You
can't
get
do
sued.
that.
Yeah.
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 Well, she's a stupid bitch. So
Well, fucking Katy Perry, am I right?
What do you expect?
I forget that you have Katy Perry hatred.
I don't even know why. You know, I hope she's nice. I hope I'm wrong. But when I look at her, I
wish
feel
her
like
well,
she's an evil.
but
wicked.
I hate her.
I just feel that way. I don't know.
This is the pillar of Paul and I's relationship, our shared distaste.
Yeah, we bond over that.
It's okay. I feel like that about MrBeast. And I've always felt like that about MrBeast. And
Christine probably doesn't even know who that is.
Yeah, who's Mr.
He's
Beast?
like a huge YouTuber.
He's a big YouTuber who's kind of like been caught under the crossfire recently of bad like work practices and stuff like that. Of just like being an insane person, basically.
Being
But-
a beast. I mean, he identifies as a beast, guys. He's Mr. Beast.
Yeah, but he's like a dork. You know, he's not like beastly. I don't know where he got the name, but
Yeah.
it's like the Beast in X-Men, but if he never turned into Beast.
Exactly. It's like if the weird kid got rich. It's kind of like the vibe that I
Yeah,
get.
the weird kid got rich. I
The
mean,
weird kid got rich.
he deserves all his success. He's done a lot, and he's a genius in a lot of ways.
1,000%. Just don't.
But yeah, it sounds like he's maybe kind
Don't
of a
mistreat
douchebag.
people.
So what are
Yeah.
the things? He's like just an asshole to work for. Based on what
I've heard a
you've
lot
seen?
of things from like I've literally like done one of the videos that I've edited for this for him and this other client got actually nominated for a Streamy. I'm technically a Streamy nominated.
Wow,
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, didn't win, but nominated. But I remember on that shoot because we went to North Carolina where he's from, and they like did like a collab video for us and then his channel. And I was talking to I just met some people that like work for them and stuff and like heard stuff and Anyway, long story short, I think there's a bigger thing that exists because of all this stuff being shown to light nowadays of just bad working climates for digital creators. There should be regulation in the digital realm, and that for specifically to protect post-production people specifically and production people, because that's the only downfall of YouTube. Sometimes these channels get so big. I mean, MrBeast is 1,000% creating a TV show like weekly or whatever. And those are big, high budget things that need professional people and not just kids you find out on Craigslist who are 20 and who will work 28 hours straight with Red Bulls and no extra pay. You know what I mean? Like there's a bigger problem that exists that I think nobody's talking about, but like they should talk about when it comes to like the digital realm and like just digital production. But also I'm so hyper aware of like people and how they work. I don't mean to, but I just see how they work. Kind of like how you like. I have this feeling about Katy Perry, and I just remember being like, even before I met the dude, I was just like, I just see him in interviews and stuff, and be like, oh, he's not a good one. He's not good, you know.
Just get a bad vibe.
Got a bad vibe, yeah. And then sometimes I think that people, because they want viewership, all these other people with platforms will put you on their platform to interview you or come to my podcast, please, and they'll just tunnel vision ignore how terrible you are when you're
Sure.
kind of being terrible right in front of you, just to like get the viewership and get the name on the title and thumbnail. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna get paid for it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were doing a song with Kanye West and he wanted to come over and record and he was like being a douchebag to his people, we'd be like, let's just get this song, you know? Like,
For
I'd
sure.
be like,
No, 1,000%,
you know,
I agree.
It's like, wow. And then he'd leave. We'd be like, dude, he's kind of a fucking asshole. Like, geez, I didn't want to say anything because it's Kanye West. I want him on my song.
no, for sure,
But boy, that guy fucking sucks. Like, we would do the same thing.
for sure, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but that's how these people, like, once you're that popular, who's going to stop you? Like, you know?
Well, also too, because you have the power to remove the people that say no to you, right? That's why a lot of people who are kind of like more open or whatever the fuck, or I don't know, that you kind of yes men exist because they say yes, you know? So
Right. So, and I mean, he's also, I don't know. I mean, he's able to hire whoever he wants. And if some kid is like, I'm 20 years old, I'll do it for fucking free. Like, what's he supposed to say?
Yeah, that's not the big problem that he's kind of under fire for
So
right
what's
now.
he in trouble for?
What's he gonna say? He should say, I want to make sure that you're taken care of, and I like to take care of my employees and make sure that like you're set up for success in the long run. I'm gonna take care of you better than
Okay,
that.
I agree. That's the nice thing to say. But legally, does he have to pay people? Can you have slaves if they want to be slaves? No, I don't- But if someone's like, I'll work for free, am I required to pay them legally? Someone's like, I just want the experience.
No, but it's not like yeah. He's currently under fire because
Not sure where the legal.
he's currently
Lines
under fire
lie.
because this guy that used to work for him made like the long YouTube video series, and also got this other guy who used to be in the videos as a personality, and then eventually like got taken off who came forward as well and did an interview, whatever, about his like experience there. And the dude, from what I remember from the videos, at least the one guy that worked for him, was like predatory practices that deal with like gambling, because some of the things that they would do to get like subscribers and or to get eyes on like their products and stuff was just like, hey, if you get this, there's going to be a number on this one chocolate, so blah blah blah. But also in the videos as well and in the streams, there's like this gambling element that he like really does to like get kids to like pay all the time for things or try to like pay for things, which is illegal and it's kind of sketchy. Still in the gray area of like if it is
like,
you know,
doing contests.
Kind of, yeah.
But
yeah.
doing an official contest is like a lot of lawyers get involved, and like there's so many rules around like running a contest,
and also doing contests where people like just didn't get the thing. Like you'd win a thing and then you just didn't get the thing. Now it's bigger. There's also another huge creator who I forget her name, but she was in one of his like game show things, like one of his like big YouTube videos with all the other YouTubers, and she came out, this is like maybe 3 years ago or something, she came out on YouTube and was like, hey, this was not a fun experience for me. I was cut for like saying certain things. The production was not like helping with talent and stuff, and like not caring about the well-being of people, because a lot of those things that they do for those videos now are very like Survivor-esque stuff.
Where it's like 24 hours, like whoever can last the longest in a box,
who can stay awake for 84 hours, you know, like stuff like that. Yeah. And there's no help on making sure people are okay. So she had came out about that and was under fire, because it's, again, that the people who like mainly consume that content are all children. I know, because I have like my nephew who, whenever he found out that I was like editing for stuff for MrBeast, he was like, oh, that's amazing, that's so cool. And I was like, yeah, but it's not. It's like, it's capitalism retention porn. It's like, here's $1,000, blah 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 blah. It's like not good for little children's brains.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all. It's one of the, I think it's one of the worst things. And then the other guy who like worked for them, they had done this, they tried a video with him because he's in-house, like he knows everyone. So they tried like a video concept with him where it was locked by yourself, like stay by yourself for like 72 hours and win 100K or something like that. But what they did is when they did do that, they like left the lights on the whole time and wouldn't turn them off. So he didn't know when like day and night was, and that's not good for the site. So he like was going crazy, and like it was very, very, very bad. And then in the end, he like just quit. And some of the things that like Jimmy, the guy said it like via text and stuff that he has like, you know, some receipts for, were just kind of like shitty like things. It's like, oh, well, like just give him 50K, who cares? You know what I mean? Like not caring about a human being's well-being. Right. And that's kind of the vibe that I got from a long time ago. And
so he's a sociopath.
That's kind of the vibe that I got. I've worked for other people who are kind of like that too, and it's just, not a good look. And it's sad too, because then you watch these kids consuming this content. I mean, I watch my like, nephews and nieces being stoked for me, like working for these certain people, and they're watching the content like, oh, that person's so cool, blah blah, and they're not, and they don't care about you, and they don't care about the people that they're like putting on. I remember we gave a car away to someone, and like she didn't get the car for like 7 months, and like I saw the email chains coming in of like, hey, can I get, you know? And she's like, we kept her reaction because she like cried, you know? She like, it's just. It's
great content. But
content like, porn, but you don't see it as like a human being. You're just like, oh, this is views. You know what I mean? This is going to give me some views.
It's
a sickness.
An ugly habit.
I don't agree with the idea of philanthropy only for the camera.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, it's nice you gave someone a car, but you don't get any points. You weren't nice. This wasn't a nice thing you did. She's got a car now. That's great. But like, you don't get points for being a nice person because you didn't do it to be nice.
Right.
You did it for the content.
You didn't do it for her. You did it for yourself.
You did it for yourself.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
You're not doing it for her. You don't care who's on the other end of who's receiving the car.
And
it's just that you're so nice to give it.
But you're not so nice to give it. It's like you're not nice to give it. You're just doing whatever gets you somewhere. You know, like you're doing it completely for yourself. If taking from people was going to get you the views, you probably do that. You know, like
yeah, true. Yeah, it's weird because we exist in a time where there's a lot of content creators that solely kind of do that. And while I still think it's icky to film things, there's some people who I like genuinely like, oh, I feel like they are genuinely doing it because, that's like their calling, whatever the hell. And
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if you want to make a life of helping people, to film it makes it a profitable endeavor so that you can actually do it.
So you can help people more.
So you can help people more.
Yeah.
but then also it's like
Yeah, there's two sides to every coin.
so it's kind of
It's an
weird.
interesting, weird thing.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. In general, I hate it. I don't like people filming themselves giving money to a homeless person. It's like, just fucking give the guy money and go do something else. Like,
I agree. If you have to make a whole separate channel that has philanthropy in the title, like,
oh, people do that?
MrBeast has, because he has like his like main channel, then he has like MrBeast Reacts, and he has one for everything. He's also, I will say, he's a smart guy in the sense of YouTube. It was a kid who wanted to be the best YouTuber. He like did it, which shout out to that.
Yeah.
Just, be kind to human life would be my only thing. But yeah, he has a whole separate channel where they like, but even that's kind of like sketchy. It'll be like, we made 100 bathrooms in Africa. It still feels icky. You know what I mean?
Right. But it is good. It's good for the
sometimes
Africans.
It's not. No, sometimes it's not. And like,
how is it not?
I mean, what if, I don't know, did he ever actually do it? Did he exploit the local labor? Did he pay local labor who built it? Did it fall apart as soon as he left?
That's an interesting point. If you can't even get your actual production, if you're under fire for your actual productions, like imagine what.
Yeah, is
the
it
help
actually
people-
good?
It sounds like he gets away with as much as he can.
Yeah.
As far as exploiting labor and like just getting it for
like
the video.
Constantly just
okay,
cheating
that's
the bottom line and
sure. So yeah, did it all fall apart when he left? Is it not sustainable? Like, right?
And also,
who knows? He obviously didn't actually probably care. Like,
Yeah, he didn't actually care.
To me, it's
Are spiders in that bathroom? What's the situation?
Yeah. What
you a
did he
bug?
do about the spiders?
What's happening?
It always kind of makes me think of like PR. It's like whenever you see news articles or videos or articles in general of like being like, being told a person's nice. I'm like, yeah, because they're telling you they're nice. They're like paying to tell you that they are fucking nice. You know what I mean?
That key phrase you hear, like, you just trust me. It's like, no, because that's what anyone would say when they're trying to convince you of something. So that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird world, and YouTube still technically to me is like still in the kind of like the wild west of regulation and stuff. When it comes to like content creation and stuff like that, especially when you start getting bigger, there should be a thing that once you get to a bigger, like maybe 30 million, 40 million subscriber zone, you gotta like kind of treat it like a film thing.
Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough to get.
Depending on what kind of content you make, because you could like be a person who does mukbangs and gets whatever, like a fuck ton of views. That's completely different. But like, again, if you're making productions, like he's making shows, like watch those things. They're like, there's a lot of budget going into it. That's TV realm at that point to me.
Yeah. Right. But how do you regulate that? Is it like once you're spending X amount on a production, then you come into the bracket of like having these regulations? Because like you said, views and subscribers, maybe I just set up a camera and and then I send it to some kid in India who cuts it up
for sure
for like $16, and it's like that's just the system we always did. And
yeah, I think when it gets to the point where you're running like 40 cameras and you're having like hiring talent to come in, like like people off of Craigslist or whatever. I don't know, when it feels like a TV show. If it's fucking, if you're making a TV show, it
seems like maybe just any employee should have employee rights, not be exploited by.
There you go.
True.
That's it.
Yeah.
Seems like employee rights.
You nailed
it's a
it.
simple thing.
Simple. It
Real
is
simple.
pretty simple.
On that note, I got to go put the rest of the Dutch baby away. I'm worrying about it. I'm just over here worrying about the other piece that we have.
Should we eat the rest, or you want to save it?
I think we should put it in the fridge.
Okay.
Save it.
We can end this. We've been going like an hour. That's great.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's end. I'm sure we'll do it. I'd like to do another one with you while you're here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
Wonderful.
meet again back in the peg room. What are we calling this? The white room? The pegboard
Peg room.
The peg. I like peg.
In the peg room.
Meet me in the peg room.
peg room?
What happens in the peg room? Well, bend over and I'll show you.
White room. No.
No, that's the white room.
Yeah, so
This
what do
is
we
the
call
storage
this?
room is what I always refer to this room, because this is where we store things. It's funny that like, what a beautiful house, and like this is the least aesthetic room, and this is where we're gonna shoot the podcast.
Yeah, I'm
Still-
not sold yet. I don't know.
I still like it.
It's kind of
We'll
hot in
see.
here.
I
It
know
is
I'm
kinda hot in
hot.
here.
I gotta go.
This is the hottest time of the year.
And the hottest
Anyway.
part of the day. Let's get out of here.
All right.
Okay.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Love
Thank
you,
you,
bye.
JC. Love you.
Get me out of here. Wait, do one more Tim the Toolman for me. Yeah.